Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Vines. I'm Dan Mackey with the Loaded Grape, TC Frazier, and Tryon, as always. So we got a great show in store for you. We're going to do some fun stuff because we get asked all the time, what wines are you drinking? When you go home, what wines are you drinking? So we're doing a whole show on what we're drinking right now. Each of us picked two wines tonight. And the first two are going to probably start with Tanya. So then we'll go to
usually these first two wines are one not to be drinking any night of the week. So I mean, it's kind of hard to after 50 episodes and however many wines on and off the show to pick 6 wines, but we try to distill it down to give something for everybody tonight, I think. So
yes, and want to do a couple of housekeeping things. One, thank you so much for tuning in. Two, as you guys know, that we have doing a loyalty program for quite some time now, and that loyalty program involved. I'm just going to make this go. We're going to make. So it's not letting me. Okay, there we go. That's the side I wanted to do on. Okay, so as you know, we have the sweatshirt at 45 points. So each time you order a bottle, you get a point. And one of the things that we've been talking about, they finally came in, is the knit hats, the toboggans, the beanies, the whatever you like to refer to them as. Nice. They're very, very nice. High quality, as you can see here, it has the Loaded Grape logo on the tab, very hip and trendy. So we have the white, the burgundy, in more of a female knit cut, and then more of the hipster cut in a dark gray toboggan right there.
If you're lucky enough to look good in a beanie, you should get one of these.
Yes, so and a hunter green, and it's got really, again, that logo looks really, really cool on there. This is 25 points to get the hat, or $25 if you just want to buy one. That's up to you. But those hats are in, so you can start using your points to get those wines, get those products. More products coming every month. We keep on adding more and more. So next week we are going in doing Virtual Vines. It's Winter Whites. Winter Whites. This is really, most people, oh, you drink some whites during the winter. It's okay. There's certain things that it'll pair with, and we're going to go over that next week. And there will also be another additional discount, kind of like we're doing this week. Oops, where is that? Let me stop there. Jump myself. Today being President's Day, we're doing a coupon code of PRES20. So anything you order today, plus a little discount, you're going to get 20% off.
Yeah.
That's huge savings.
Yeah,
huge savings.
Absolutely.
So, and that goes site-wide. So go ahead and remember that. We'll talk about it throughout the night to use PRES20 at checkout. So don't even worry about your club level discounts. You're getting extra bonus money. Everybody's getting extra bonus money here. So that's really cool. Then to go back 1 second, coming up next Thursday, we're going to do a virtual Rombauer tasting, 5 wines, the Sauvignon Blanc, the Chardonnay, which everybody loves and adores, as well as the Zinfandel, Merlot, and Cab. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you haven't got a tasting kit, reserved tasting kit, that's coming up on the 25th at 7:30. I know we've already got a couple dozen people already signed up for that, so it should be another huge success. And then Charlotte from the winery is going to be joining us, talking about each one of these wines in the winery. So great experience, and you'll be able to taste along. Unlike tonight, you don't get to taste along. That one you'll taste along. Tasting kits will be available that Thursday in the wine shop for you to pick up, as well as getting your link to tune into Zoom to do that. So yeah, again, lots going on. Awesome, and now it's time to break into our first wine, and that is a lovely Pinot Grigio. This is a Tanya pick. Tanya's been drinking a lot of Pinot Grigio.
That's like a bad thing. You preface it. That's a Tanya. Now, this is a Tanya. Did you hear that tone?
I didn't mean it was a tone. I just want to let everybody know.
This is a little tone there.
Sorry, Vanna Vines. Vanna. Hold on. Vanna Vines. Vanna Vines over here.
Well,
yes.
Come on, TC. You're supposed to be on my side.
She's sorry about that. Sorry, Vanna Vines. This is a Vanna Vine. I just wanted to preface it. Whose pick it was.
I think it's important that we like. So you this I'm drinking Pinot Grigios right now, not specifically this one every single time I drink a Pinot
Sure.
Grigio. So.
Right.
But if this is handy, you grab it because not only is it tried and true, but the price too. I mean, this is something. You know, I mean, Danny, I mean, even on the shelf, you guys had this for very reasonably priced. And I know when we picked it up, originally we did the Ramato, we did the big rosé tasting, sold a ton of that. And, just to talk a little bit about it, guys. I mean, Pinot Grigio, I know for the past, let's say 20, 30 years, it's got a rap of this neutral, innocuous, one-dimensional wine, and even in Italy in the 70s when they were kind of going through this fine wine revolution and redefining these DOCs and DOCGs, it was the Gaves of the world and the Suaves that were getting more of the adoration than Pinot Grigios. But however, for those of you out there that are savvy enough, that drink enough European wine, Italian wine, Northern Italian wine specifically, will know that not all places in Italy are treated the same. And as a matter of fact, if you looked at all the grapes grown in Italy, Pinot Grigio is actually farther down the trough. I mean, it's like number 15 or 16 planted. However, because of marketability, the Santa Margaritas of the world, right? But this is an area called Friuli that's kind of tucked away in that eastern corner, just north of Venice. Basically, we're talking about the Valpolicella, not too far from there. We're talking about not too far away from Prosecco DOC, which we've talked about in the past. This is a perfect area. I mean, you basically have the Alps just to the north. You have the Adriatic Sea just to the south.
Hold on, let me get you.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Get your map. Sorry.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, and as you guys can see, I mean, the sea just kind of sucks up. Much like the San Pablo Bay in San Francisco or in Bordeaux, you have the Gicaron, which kind of runs down the actuary right there. And, one thing you can always say in common that the sort of the best wine regions of the world usually have some sort of water source, whether it be a big body of water, a big lake, riverbed or seabed that kind of help regulate it. And this is, guys, I got to tell you, one of the best places, not to be hyperbolic about it, but, Vanna, she could have picked a lot worse Pinot Grigios. I mean, to me, I think this is one of the best, quite frankly. And for the price point, no one can touch it. This is a wine that's been around since the 1500s. The Atems, and again, this will change your mind about Pinot Grigio. This is something that you pour in the glass, will get, all the people that I only drink red or I only drink Burgundy or whatever. If it's got to be white, you pour somebody a glass like this, you're like, oh my God. This is the Pinot Grigio because it has texture. Yeah. It has aromatics, and it comes from a few things. One is when they ferment the wine, it is stainless steel fermented, but they do this process called batonnage, which basically is a fancy French term for stirring the lees, which is the dead yeast cells. And what that does is it adds the nuance and a complexity and kind of like a soup, guys. Any of you that have made soup, it's pretty good on day one, even better day two, and probably at its best day 3 and 4, right? Well, it's something about kind of stirring it, getting everything to marry against one another. That's really what you have. And so, I think when you talk about price point to quality ratio, pedigree, and quite frankly, one of the best areas to grow Pinot Grigio and Trinity. I mean, if you want to be, cool, get a few brownie points, Friuli Pinot Grigio, guys, is not only what we're drinking in Greensboro, by God, North Carolina, but New York, San Francisco. I mean, these guys go to Disney, and I can tell you some of these places they go to. If it's legit Pinot Grigio, it's probably Friuli. Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is excellent. We did this in the Italian Wine Dinner. Yeah. So not a lot of people had the opportunity to get this or try this. And so in the time you're saying, hey, I want to do Pinot Grigio for this show. I said, great, we'll pick one. And I, said, hey, what do you have in inventory and what do we have available? And
I think as soon as we mentioned that, it still has a great little deal price on it. I think drinking beautifully. It's not saturated out in the market. I think when we picked it up, the previous distributor, like anything else, kind of got lost in the book. So I think we're trying to breathe some new life into it. And frankly, I'm just so happy and tickled pink to have this brand because as a salesman, not only do you want good juice, but you want to have some juice that, it's affordable and stuff that you can put out there in different places. And guys, this is, again, restaurants, hopefully we'll get there at some point, but this has got by the glass Pinot Grigio written all over it. And if I'm going to a som or a wine bar owner and trying to throw a Pinot Grigio, because there's a lot of Pinot Grigios out there, this quite frankly would be number one that we carry that I would put out there because the price point and the quality I frankly can't be beaten.
No, it's really, really good, and I'm glad Tanya picked the Pinot Grigio.
What do you think about this one? It's still as good as you.
It's super crisp. crisp and clean. Yeah, I like it.
A lot of aromatic. I mean, again, I think it's one of those where aromatically it has more going on than your typical Pinot Grigio. And again, with that leaf stirring, take a little more time to take a more work at the winery, so it is not as cost effective as some of the cheaper Pinot Grigios. But you can smell it, you can taste it. It has texture. It's not just this front to back like a sip of water.
Right.
You know, it's just like
thin, the ones that are so thin.
Paper thin. Yeah. Where let's frankly, I mean, Pinot Grigio has almost been relegated to people that just want something cold and wet and don't want to think about it. And unfortunately, that's the market. The market is answered. The market's answered with a flood of innocuous, which would I guess be the best word to describe it, Pinot Grigios. And Danny can probably tell you one after another, you're like, but all of a sudden you drink this, and you're like, damn, this is Pinot Grigio.
I told the story last week on camera that most women order Pinot Grigio because it's supposedly better for their waistline.
Okay.
Less calories and all that stuff. So if you're drinking a Pinot Grigio, you definitely want it to have, a little bit more taste than the normal too.
Well, if anybody's going for the calorie count, you can also tell those same people if smaller sips actually, digest a little bit better too. They'll probably be like, that's great. I'm going to text 5 friends sips right now.
Smaller sips. Remember that.
You said smaller bites is not as fattening. Right? So.
Well, I do want to say we have a great deal price on, but remember to use Prez 20 when doing checkout, because that's going to get you 20% off on that price.
We have a
promo code for tonight. Yeah, to get that extra 20% off. Tell your friends, tag your friends that aren't watching the show, and let them know that they can shop Loaded Grape today and save an extra 20. Why not tell your friends they can save some money on wine? We actually saw that people get upset because chocolate and flowers go on sale the day after Valentine's Day, but wine typically doesn't. Today, wine is going on sale, so let your friends know that there's wine on sale after Valentine's Day.
Yeah. And Danny, I'm so glad you put this picture up before we go on the next one, because people, it kind of throws their mind, because they don't think Pinot Gris or Grigio, one, it's an offshoot of Pinot Noir. It genetically mutates on the vine. That's why we have it. It actually has anywhere from dark orange, yellow tint, almost basically red, as you see in that picture. And this is basically a picture from the winery. I think you took it off. And they're known for a style called Ramato. And again, for those of you that know add temp for the Ramato, I'm going to speak for Danny. I know it's the same price
for the Rato.
Domo arigato for the Ramato.
Yeah, so
I'm going on a limb and say, even if you want to try this, but you've had the Ramato, I think Danny will honor the Ramato price.
Oh, yeah, it's 20. It's they get the 20% off on everything.
On everything, yeah. So guys, this is
if
you like the Ramato. It's a fantastic wine. They also do a Sauv Blanc, which maybe for another episode. But guys, I got to tell you, Pinot Grigio, if you just once bitten, twice shy, you just can't bear yourself to buy a bottle of Pinot Grigio. If you just kind of listen to me now and hear me later, as they would say on the show. This is definitely easily something, and it goes with everything. Look at that. It does go with everything,
and that's why I wanted to bring it up. Is that you have so many options to use this wine, whether you're doing maybe a lighter pasta sauce, to fish, to
guacamole,
macaroni and cheese. This wine is going to pair with it, right? I know, right?
So that I'm thinking like nice gooey, extra gooey baked mac and cheese, a nice crusty.
Try the mac and cheese at Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah,
they are not
Chick-fil-A. We're still waiting on the sponsorship.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Chick-fil-A.
Damn it! Maybe that's the Sunday show. You can say it's a Chick-fil-A. What it's like it's the Chick-fil-A Nick. It's the McDonald's, the McDonald's.
The good news is this show is on a Monday, so we could do a quick Chick-fil-A run just before the show starts.
Yeah.
Bring it over here, and we'll pair some items with wine. Yeah, just do it. We'll do it on our own.
We'll do that. If anybody likes to see that, I mean, that's definitely
Let us know. Let us know in the comments if you want to see Chick-fil-A paired with wine. We'll put that together.
Or any ideas out there. Chicken sandwiches. Maybe we'll go. Let's go around and get chicken sandwiches.
You can do the chicken sandwich.
I haven't had Popeyes. Everybody says Popeyes.
Popeyes was good.
Is it good?
The spicy one was good.
Do we have a Popeyes in Greensboro? I guess we do, right?
Yeah, we got a couple.
Okay.
So just want to put this up here. Yeah,
From Pinot Grigio to Popeyes, guys. That's why you tune in.
Right, tune in. You can head over to theloadedgrape.com. Remember, use that promo code PREZ20 at checkout. We'll remind you right throughout the show. But this is a really excellent Pinot Grigio. And another reason leading into what we're doing for next week, which is winter whites, this would have been a perfect one for a winter white because it's just a heavier Pinot Grigio. It's not this light, silly, one-dimensional Pinot Grigio. Not they're saying there's anything wrong with that. There's a place and point for those, but this is definitely one where I think if you like Pinot Grigio, go ahead and get a bottle, maybe two, because you're saving by almost 30% today with the $2 off plus the 20%. So.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, and I'll go on a limb and say, if you want varietally correct, often when we talk about blind tasting, it's kind of hard to throw in like a Chilean Pinot Noir in a blind tasting. You would say, all right, if we're going to do Pinot, we're going to do places that Pinot is known for. And so for Pinot Grigio, Friuli being one of them, this, quite frankly, guys, if you're like, okay, what is some of the benchmark? Like, what is a benchmark? What is Pinot Grigio? What should it taste like? Atoms is one of the top 3 or 4 producers in Italy right now making that. So anyway, grab you a bottle of that.
Grab you a bottle.
All right.
Actually, I even had a comment here. Pinot Grigio with Palella is fabulous. Yeah. So that sounds absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
I just had stew, and that still sounds delicious. Yeah. So, and it looks like John says multiple chicken sandwiches paired with wines. That might be it. That might be the one. That might be one too. So
I think multiple chicken sandwiches. We'll go around. Maybe
Zaxby's has one now too.
Yeah, just about everybody has. Yeah. I mean, if you don't have a chicken sandwich,
Zaxby made a big deal about it right during the Super Bowl, right? We got. Yeah, we have a chicken sandwich.
They went on that ride. I mean, Popeyes. I didn't even know Popeyes was around now. It was early 2000s. They like it was like an East Coast, West Coast, Biggie Smalls, Tupac thing going on there for a second.
It was all of a sudden like they're like, hey,
throwing it down, man. Chicken wars.
the chicken wars are on. But now it's time to talk about rosé. Now, this one is also a Tanya pick, and I am so glad she picked this again. Some of you might remember that we did the 2019 early in our first run of virtual vines. This is the 2020 vintage. Just came in the Alma de Catalia Rosé. A great deal price on this. We're going to let Bailey in so she stops barking.
Let Danny's bad dog
My bad dog. She's just lonely. That's all. She's 15 and she doesn't want to be alone.
So, looking for love in all the places. So guys, so this is quite frankly, really, you go to wine dinners, you see wine shows, and people talk about this winemaker, that winemaker, like it's supposed to mean something. It's like that, and a coin will get you on the subway. But frankly, guys, I got to tell you, if you're really trying to take note of people that are in the wine game and making strides, and really their star is rising, sort of vintage to vintage, is the lady, the woman actually is making this wine. Her name is Bibiana Gonzalez Rave, and very, very, very smart. Was able to study in Europe during college in France, and obviously didn't take long. She kind of wanted to get into wine, but, went over to France and really got immersed into it, into viniculture, started making some wine, and then moved to California and really just fell in love with this California viticultural, and specifically Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from Sonoma. That's like her love. She did several stints with a couple different wineries, and then landed at Paulmeyer, which is a very famous Napa Valley winery. Some of their reserve wines go for, easily $200 a bottle every vintage. And so recently recently they broke off some of their property, which they had bottled under Paulmeyer for years, called Wayfarer. This is sort of an extreme Sonoma Coast property that's getting 95, 96 points. Not cheap wines, but very small boutique Chardonnay and Pinot Noirs that are very, very beautiful. And so over time, her making her own wines, she's able to contract fruit. She doesn't own any vineyard. She doesn't own a vineyard or own land or own a winery per se. But this is her own label, is the Catalla. And Catalla actually is the national flower of Colombia, so it's a little homage to her heritage. But the Catalla wines are single vineyard Pinot Noir and Chardonnays that, again, are kind of price point prohibitive. So what she did a few years ago was come out with sort of an entry-level blended of all those sub-single vineyard wines called Alma de Catalaya, which means soul of. And what she's trying to do is, she would say that the single vineyard are side expressions of a single varietal. The Alma lines are a Sonoma expression of that varietal. So she's really trying to take the best of the 4 or 5 vineyards she's working with to make a wine. So in this case, it's a rosé made of Pinot Noir, picked very early in the season, very, very minimal contact with the skin, somewhere around 48 hours, very Provençal in style. There's no sauniers, there's no shortcuts to this, which is, again, no true Provençal winemaker would do that. What I mean by that is taking bleed from otherwise a normal red Pinot Noir and making a rosé with it. A lot of people would say that's cheating, but to each his own, right? But I will say this is a style that, again, when the approach, just like all her wines, labor intensive. Made for quality versus quantity, and just everything she makes across the board ranges between 400 to 800 cases, and not a line of wine to be had. She's only in, I want to say 15 to 20 or so states, and that's because her husband, who's sort of famous in his own right, Jeff Pisoni of the Pisoni family, who is very legendary in St. Lucia Highlands. They married about 15 or 10, 15 years ago, I believe. And so they're like sort of this power couple. People always talk about Hollywood couples. They're like this power couple in the wine business. And quite frankly, it's hard to pick up a spectator, an enthusiast, or pick up social media. And if you're following a wine person, not see one of her wines or her name get mentioned every time. So beautiful, beautiful wines. I mean, these are wines. Every time I take out, I feel like I want to tell her story more, but people just go, "Oh my God, these wines are just so pretty. They're elegant. They're sophisticated. Everything from the, even, rosé is almost meant to be. People think it's the easy, drinkable, quenchable wine, which it is. But this is a rosé made with some pizzazz to it. I mean, this is a rosé that's got some, some extra je ne sais quoi to it. It's not just your typical throw it in a mug and let's just go out to.
This has some character. I know Tanya loved the 2019.
When you're wearing something really pretty.
Yeah, your finest satin or silk pajamas.
It is very elegant.
It is a very elegant rosé. Got it down to 20% off, so that's just a great deal price on this wine. And then Sonoma, and we talk Monterey, Sonoma. That's where great Pinot Noir is being grown right now in California, and I think she's using some great grapes to make this.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys
really
go on,
quality.
and if you guys go online, she's got some really fun names like Cuvée Number 5 and Belly of the Well and all kinds of fun, funky names. But I can go ahead and assure you, beside those fun, funky names that are usually between $85 to $150 a bottle, great wines, and I've been able to try some, and they are fantastic. But again, she just, like, for her humble beginnings, realized, hey, I need to have some wines, that people can have on a by the glass list at a restaurant, or maybe something that you can have in a retail spot for around $35-40 and under. That's a bit more approachable, and again, I just think everything does. Yeah. So again, we'll probably at some point maybe do a few of her other wines, but the rosé is just again a pretty wine. We don't get a lot of it, as Danny said. We just got the 2020 vintage, and this is the first time I'm trying it right here, guys. And I'm just trying to give my as honest as I can. I mean, you almost get this definitely floral, but you get like more red flowers, not necessarily just rose, but almost get like more of this.
Yeah, it's
to me, like a hawthorn, acacia, you definitely get this like kind of cranberry, maybe like a little bit of a pomegranate in the background, but very, very beautiful wine. Not too acidic. I think it's got some body to it, which is great.
Yeah, it definitely does have more body than a rosé.
Some rosés are just too acidic. I mean, so, they're just really, really high acid. Some rosés are really deep and dark and rich, and they're almost like a red wine. I think this is really kind of swings the pendulum of both of those. So really beautiful wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really, really excellent wine. Great deal price on this. Be sure to head over to the Loaded.com. A couple of this in the cart before you check out. It is just, I tell you, every time we drink it, I'm like, man, this is so solid. And we're getting into rosé season. It's coming. We're already seeing this is 2020 vintage. They're starting to come in, and that it's only a matter of time before everything that's coming in is the 2020 vintage. Obviously, being Sonoma, Monterey, not really affected by the fires. This is not an area that's worried about that. So don't worry that the Pinot Noir has been tainted in any way. But this is really man. I mean, for the price, you got to get it. You got to get it for the price.
It's guys, you could definitely do a lot worse from California in rosé, and drinking beautiful now. But I remember in the summer, as Danny said, we had a few bottles that we've probably been sitting on for 4 or 5 months. And we're drinking just as fresh and as beautiful as the day they were released. So, and again, if you get a chance, again, I know this isn't a $10 rosé, but guys, this is going to drink every bit. What are you doing? $20 you said? So,
yeah, 20 down to plus 20% off. So
that's a great deal.
So you're looking at $18 for this. So really, really great price that you don't want to miss out on. Just stellar. And you know what the funniest thing is here is that TC picked a rosé as well for today.
Oh.
I
guess, was that the curveball?
This is a curveball.
We're supposed to pick. We're supposed to send the regular Beaujolais, I think.
Yeah, you're supposed to send the regular Beaujolais.
They had a mispick.
They had a mispick. So TC picked the other rosé.
I picked the red wine, and I guess my warehouse picked a rosé. So all right, well I guess we'll do this one.
Huh? It's thundering again.
Is that thunder outside?
Yes.
They
really want us to have a snowstorm here in the state. That's really what's.
I don't even know if we even have any more of this rosé left.
Oh no! So we'll have to
cut camera.
We'll have to. Well, we're going to talk about why TC is looking at
Mother
it.
Nature was like rumbling, so you wouldn't talk about this rosé.
Yeah, let's. I'll do this here too, so everybody doesn't have feedback. So while TC looks that up, it is we got
a little bit of it.
We got a little bit of it.
We'll talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. So we love Beaujolais. We Gamay on this show has been a huge hit, and now we're going to talk about one that I think is. Let me do this. This is one where we get to talk about first time on the show. We've never done this before. Which is a Beaujolais rosé, which that's
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can make rosé out of anything.
Sure,
that's not the. But the surprise of the fact of the matter is that we're actually doing one that because it's not something you tend to pull off the shelf and try. That's not an everyday wine. Yeah. So this could be fun.
That's a Cendrone Dolce Diavolo.
Oh, look at me. Oh, look at me. I screwed up there. So we're gonna skip that picture. There we go.
There we go.
We're going to go straight to
this wine was just a curveball written all over it. Well, guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about this winery, their red wine, as well as the rosé, which is what we have here, because it is kind of a juxtaposition, just tasting it. This one is from a little winery in Beaujolais called Prebende Domaine.
I can bring you up over here. I can get you the close-up camera here.
Close up here. Yeah, beautiful little shot of the hillside and the village there, Prebende. And this, what's really fun about this winery, guys, excuse me, is that it has been in almost continuous operation since the year 1512. So 500 years this winery has been making wine. And in that time, it's only changed hands, i.e. it's only had 3 different owners in that amount of time. So that's quite impressive. The recent owners acquired it in 1919, which was Anna Esker, which is actually what the bottle's named after. You see her name at the bottom. And then you also have Jules de Pueb, and we've done some de Pueb on the show as well. And, in those years, it seems like, each generation adds a little bit of their own thing to it. And over time, they've acquired about 100 acres, about 40 of which are under vine, 100% Gamay in Beaujolais proper, and some holdings up on the hillside and some crude Beaujolais spots. And what I love about this wine, guys, whether it is a white, which is they make a white as well, or a rosé, or a traditional rouge, is this is probably one of those natural wines and wine areas that, quite frankly, that you can drink from. There is no chapelization, which is to say there's no sugar added. There is no CO2 added. I know last show you and I talked a little bit about adding sulfur and things like that.
Mhm.
Wineries that are organic can do that, but these guys add no sulfur. There's no chemicals added. There's no synthetic fertilizers used. There's no commercial yeast strands. So it's all native yeast strands that ferment all of the wine. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, is this is about as natural of as a wine, about as least interventionist of a wine that you can find out there. So for those of you, just like food, again, people are becoming more conscious about what they shop for and what they put in their body. I call it the better for me category, with kombucha or, light beer or seltzers or whatever else. Beaujolais, almost pound for pound, is probably the cleanest wine region in the entire world, because I would say, how clean or organic can you be if everyone around you is spraying Roundup, right?
Yeah,
now, again, depending on how much that means to you, some people more or less, but ultimately when you think about if you and your neighbor for 40, 50 years have done that in terms of clean anti-fertilizers and stuff like that, you talk about one of the cleanest wine regions and all. And when I mentioned no commercial yeast strands, no CO2, things like, or no SO2. This is basically wines that our forefathers and mothers drank. I mean, this is about as natural as you could, but with 21st century technology, because we know about sanitation better now. We know about microbiomes and Botrytis and all these different things. So you're basically taking the old world approach, which is to say, hey, pick the wine, let the wine ferment, but also taking the 21st century approach and saying, okay, well, we need to make sure, we're being natural, but we also need to make sure the lab is clean too, right? So anyway, this is a rosé. It's 2019. I just looked, guys. We have about 3 cases left of this wine. So again, if you just want to get your rosé fix on them, you can. Totally different in style.
Totally
Totally
different.
different.
Really nice as well.
I almost get more cherry, more of that, like just a little richer, a little thicker.
Cherry, and definitely,
a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, you get more of that, like, I won't say like, cherry lozenge, but you get that kind of more of that lozenge.
Actually,
that kind of cherry lozenge kind of a thing going on. A little bit.
Almost makes me feel like I'm drinking the same.
Well, and it's totally different. I mean, this is something that, again, guys, if they would have let it sit on the skin for, let's say, 2-3 more days, that you basically could have had a red wine. You basically had a red wine. So they don't make a ton of this. I'm surprised. I guess to the credit of the warehouse, we're able to all that we otherwise wouldn't have got to try. But guys, we got 3 cases. Jump on it. It's the same price as we talked about, so no change there. So really, really fun stuff. What do you think about this?
I think this is really, really fun. It has a nice little, you can tell it's stainless steel in a sense, because you get that nice little effervescence on the front. This is crushable. What I also like is it's heavier.
So I was like, I can't get over how much it's so much more complex.
Much more mouthfeel.
Much more.
This is almost like a red wine drinker's rosé. I think
totally.
The first rosé is like the all day rosé, pound it, crushed it. This is like the more, okay, I haven't found a rosé I like. This might be the one, I think. For you red wine drinkers, whether it's Pinot Noir, Sangiovese, Cabernet Zin, what do you think?
It has such a lovely aroma too. It's so much more like deep.
I get more cherry.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, definitely cherry all the way. Like a little that. It's almost like lozengey almost. Kind of thing, Yes,
almost. Yeah, like a Ludman's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like it's so, but not in a medical.
No, not in a bad way. I mean, hey guys, that's just as good as my. As good as my uneducated palate can think.
Right, I'm just trying to be able to give you an idea of like what kind of cherry we're talking about in the mouthfeel. Really, really fun little wine here. Got a great deal price on this as well.
It's almost like cherry pie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe cherry pie. That's a
little cake. I get that.
It's like when you breathe it in, it's like in your mouth and everything. Like it's lovely.
Well, I thought it was strange that TC picked a rosé since we already had a rosé. So I was like, all right, he said, just, put this in. I'll, this is what I want to pick. And I said, okay, you're the one. And then it showed up, and I didn't question it because I just assumed this is what TC picked.
I think it was the rouge that we tried
rouge.
to pick. That's
all right.
That's okay.
Rosé, rouge,
We throw a curveball through the time.
And this actually turned out to be a great curveball and a great choice because it is drinking really, really nice. Like you said, I think where people might be thinking they want red at this time of year, this might be of the red drinkers rosé, and where you go, hey, I want
transition.
Hey, a transition. Maybe spring is on its way. Even even though the thunder's striking and saying that we might have to think differently, but it's coming, and with that coming means we're gonna have to start getting those days in the 60s and 70s, and you might want a rosé to crack open, and you look in the fridge right now, you're like, I haven't been buying rosés.
Sure.
There's nothing there. Well, maybe this is one you get, so you have one to throw in the fridge or chill and get it ready for the upcoming time.
Right, absolutely. I think we're going to do a Viale, and we've been keeping it close to wraps. We might have a special guest visitor.
Yes, coming up. We'll
got to stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Maybe we have a special guest.
Don't go away.
We don't want to.
We try to keep it fun and lively on the show.
You never know what's going to happen.
It's like
on
WWF,
Vines,
right? All of a sudden, gotta come out of the left field, right? So, guys, this is a fun wine, and I wouldn't say I think all these wines are wines that all of us are kind of loving. We just really wanted to find something great, but this is something for people that are a fan of this varietal, maybe don't know much about this varietal, or maybe just are in love with this varietal itself. This is a winery that personifies Zinfandel, is Robert Viale. And for those of you that have been around Loaded Grape long enough, know that we've had one of the owners and his daughter in.
We just did the Royal Punisher a couple weeks ago.
Did that a couple weeks ago, and it's really kind of a fun story. I mean, I know we've talked about it before, but the two owners, Bob Viale and Dave Pramick, when part of the winery, it was kind of by accident because Bob Viale's mother, who was by that time, this was in the late 80s, both had lived in Napa Valley, grew up in Napa Valley, but neither had grew up around wine per se. Certainly Napa Valley makes wine, but neither of their parents made wine or had a wine as it. And all of a sudden, when Bob Viale and Dave, who are childhood friends in Napa, were sitting around with their mom after their father had died, she was telling all these stories that, well, Dad never told me that story. Dad never told me that story. And oh my God, you mean Dad, ran jugs of Zinfandel up and down the valley, and oh my God, he caught it black chicken, and that's such a cool story. And oh well, we own Zinfandel. We've been selling it. We own this thing. We should do our own thing, And so all of a sudden, I'm sure a few drinks and a few, investors and a few bucks later came Robert Viale Vineyards, which has only been around since the early 90s, but the vineyards and the Zinfandel vines they source, quite frankly, are no younger than the 50s or 60s. I mean, they work with old school, old vine, like legit old vine heritage site, Zinfandel and Petit Syrah. So for those of you going to Napa, planning on going to Napa anytime soon, it's Cabernet country, Cabernet country, Cabernet country, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay down below. But when you're tired of drinking Cabernet, you're like, well, is that such a thing? I get it. Head on over to Viale, because Viale is a breath of fresh air in Napa Valley, that they're not just doing here's our entry-level cab, here's our mid-tier cab, and here's our cab that comes in a fancy wood box, which is kind of the structure of a lot of Napa wineries. And so what these guys do, instead of making just one Zinfandel or Petit Syrah and saying, all right, here's $20 and go for it, they make about 15 to 16 different Zins and about 6 different Petit Syrahs. And in the office, they have a dry erase board, like literally when they're calling and talking to states, all right, just sold another 50 cases to North Carolina, and they literally just have to take it off. And that's how small it is. And so why they do it like that is Dave and Bob and Trey, their winemaker, all agree when you bring these wines in, again, they ripen at different times. They all have an extra little nuance. And he'll say, man, when you line up R.W. Moore Vineyard next to Stagecoach. I mean, they're two totally different expressions of the same varietal.
Really shows the terroir coming through.
Very much terroir, and why blend those in? You kind of lose it, I mean, yeah, we could make a cheaper wine, but we kind of diluted the story in that story that the Zinfandel, that's up in some cases 1880s that they're sourcing from, is one. So again, being boutique and making 8++ barrels doesn't come cheap. So for those of you that know Bialy, know not cheap wines, they're not super expensive.
Yeah.
However, we were lucky enough about a year and a half, 2 years ago to pick up a newer project called Party Line, which was an homage to the back in the day, the Black Chicken days when people would call and everyone on the line could answer the phone. This is kind of an homage to that. So what they've done here is this is a North Coast expression of Zinfandel. So you have some Napa, you have some Sonoma, and some new vineyards are working with up in Mendocino. So it's a blend of 3 counties, true North Coast, and they get it, guys. They're like, okay, you want something to drink now. You want something that's about maybe around a third of the price, maybe or half the price, maybe of the Black Chicken. Here you go. We won't spend as much time at the winery. We'll release a little bit earlier. But we're still going to make sure it's every bit of good of a Zinfandel as that we always do. So what else can I say? I think as soon as I told Danny about it, he's like, let's jump on it. We sold out almost immediately. We have a little bit left. I'm getting some more transferred as we speak. But guys, if you're a Zin lover, if you're a California lover, if you're a Napa lover, this checks all the boxes, right?
This is all the boxes. Great price. Plus you get an additional 25% off. Or 20% off today. Coupon PRES20, PRES20 at checkout. And this is my pick. And I was like, a lot of times the black chicken,
pick, by the way.
Black chicken's at about just under like $38 to $40 somewhere in there. And I felt like that was too high, but the Party Line and people love the Punisher. We sold a lot of Punisher, so I wanted to be able to talk about the winery again and actually showcase the Zinfandel. If this is something that you guys say, hey, let's talk Black Chicken, let's talk Stagecoach, let's talk one of the other vineyards.
You got a discount, right?
We could talk about that.
Yeah.
So let me know if that's something you're interested in. I mean, I know we start in the $50 range with some of these other single vineyard Zins, and I know that's a scary price point for Zinfandel. People don't go that far. But you have to understand these vines are 100-year-old vines, and the yields are not so high, and the cost of production's high, and so that's why you pay up for it. But this is easy drinking, approachable. If you try a bottle of this and you really like it, that means you're gonna love the Black Chicken. So that's something to know.
It's kind of like a little this kind of blueberry jam, kind of like a little black peppercorn thing in it, and what I love about it, guys, it doesn't spend a lot of time in oak. There's not this kind of overly oak influence. There's not this big cedar wood, oak influence to it. It's not hot. So this isn't that Zinfandel that's going to be 15.6 and really be 17.2 and like make the nose hairs, curl when you smell it. And I got to say, Party Line is meant to be consumed young. But one knock on Zinfandel, people always say Zinfandel doesn't age. And I've tried several Zinfandels that are 5 years old. And depending on the producer and maybe to some degree the vintage, I would agree with that. But I've always said, because people always ask me, what are the best wines for aging? And it's kind of hard to answer that question. But the easiest way I can say it is the best producers making the best possible impressions, red, white, sparkling, whatever, can make a wine that can hold up. And so point being is about a year ago, I had a 2008 Robert Bialy Stagecoach Zinfandel. Beautiful. I mean, a 10-year-old Zinfandel, the common thinking is that Zinfandel should have been drank 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Yeah. It was drinking beautifully. So if you want to pick up a few bottles of Party Line, maybe stash away some Black Chicken for when the time's right, again, Zinfandel is one of those things. Maybe if I have $60 burn a hole in my pocket, I don't necessarily always gravitate to, but there's a few producers. I know you guys did Storybook and a wine club. Full disclosure, not even my brand. I love Storybook. I used to carry a great brand. But when you talk about the Storybooks, the Ridges, the Bialys, I mean, these are the tried and true, classy Zinfandel producers that are making that finesse Zinfandel, not that over the top put you in the headlock
with jam.
Yeah. Put you in the headlock and just make you want to eat you have to eat a bone and ribeye with it.
Full disclosure on this, Tanya made stew tonight, beef stew, and I opened this up to.
The bottle was a little
compared to the other ones, the bottle was a little less. I had a glass of this with the stew, and it was really really good. So if you're looking to put it up against some stews this winter or just sitting by the fire, this drink's really really good.
A pit pounder right here. I mean, this is the pit pounder, guys, and that price. It drinks above its weight. It's got that sophistication. For those of you that are like, okay, I want to spend more than 10, 15, but you know what, 30, 40, that's a bit out of my everyday budget. 25, I think, hits that sweet spot of like
plus 20% off today. So
plus 20% off. I mean, guys, that 25, guys, that's a deal. With the discount, it's becoming a steal. No Italian lights this year either, I guess, right?
No Italian lights.
But this is a fun Zinfandel, guys. We do not have a lot of it, so again,
I got a limited supply of this. It's so when it says sold out to you, go, hey, no, it's not that I didn't update it. That was all we had. So
and text Danny and Vanna if you are interested in this wine. I am trying to see what we have left and maybe transfer some more. So if by chance tonight some of you out there that wants 4, 5, 6 bottles, just let them know. We'll do everything we can to make sure we get some to you. So
we'll do our best. But if you say, hey, I'm fine with skipping a party line, get me a black chicken for 20% off, I'll do that as well. So we can do that. But the wines from Viale are excellent, and I just love this vineyard. And when it comes to what I'm making in the winter. Tanya knows I'm bringing home some Zin, and to her dismay sometimes, where she's like, "Not another Zinfandel," like bring me home a cab.
He gets on his picks.
Yeah, I'm like, no, we're gonna drink Zin tonight. That's what.
So when it's good, it's good.
And she always goes, "This is really good," and I'm like, "Well, I know."
Yeah, I always end up.
She always loves it.
I don't like them. It's just that I like the variety of things.
Yeah, she would prefer to have.
I'm a girl.
Like to do different stuff, but I just love that. Look at that gnarly Zin vine right there. It's just these
old school
head trained. Yeah. Like I just think it doesn't sit on a trellis.
Yeah.
It's this whole another area. You get these beautiful clusters and
beautiful little tasting room there. You got a picture of, and to the left, guys, and then to speak about organic farming. That pretty little yellow that they call that mustard, and what that is obviously it's pretty to look at, but it is cover crop, and which is a great thing to do for wineries that you don't want to spray. And obviously it's not it doesn't look like the 18th green at Augusta. However, they're not going for aesthetics; they're going for organics. And organics is natural, and that's natural right there. That's what it looks like. So those are happy vines and happy little. And again, you talk about all the ecosphere and microbiomes, from the worms to the bees and all that stuff that brings. It's not just about the vine; it's kind of that ecosphere, and that's what I think about the best wineries do. And Viale, I think, really personifies that.
Yeah, it's just an excellent winery. So again, the Press 20 at checkout to get your additional 20% off tonight. So don't worry about your club discounts. You're getting 20%. So just so everybody's getting a little bonus, whether you're in the reserve or if you're in the cellar club, or if you're not in the club tonight, you're gonna get an additional. You're gonna get a discount.
Are we giving away wine again?
We're giving away wine. It's one of those things, But let's move on. To our next wine.
Let's do the Bordeaux.
Bordeaux. Yep, we're gonna do the Bordeaux. This is we gotta go this way. Yep, sorry. Gotta go with a TC pick here.
There you go. Keep it French, right? Keep it home team.
Yes. Yeah, we couldn't do we couldn't let the Francophile get away with not doing something from France.
Well, and we were able to get a really good deal on this. This has some age on it, 2013.
Good.
Like any proper claret, like any British person would say. I know some of you are out there watching Bridgerton. I've not watched it yet.
Yeah,
I hear people start off like I see those memes of people watching.
Watch it with the kids around.
Well, I hear people start off watching it in like sweats, and by the end they're like, what they have like the Victorian and sipping tea out of that. I have no idea. It sounds like Downton Abbey, maybe like Showtime meets Downton Abbey, maybe.
Yeah. That's pretty close.
Downton Abbey with extra cleavage, extra boobage. I guess that's what it is. Okay, boobage, extra boobage there.
Well, we're already almost there. We got the 8 o'clock show going now.
8 o'clock show.
We're talking about boobage.
Yeah, you got to tune in for yourself, guys. I mean, that's we're only looking to the imagination.
They're like, okay, they've hit the 4th wine, going on to the 5th. Yep. This is where it gets dirty, down and dirty here.
Well, guys, there are some great movies, and for those of you speaking of watching movies, there's a great movie on Netflix that came out probably 10 years ago, narrated by Russell Crowe, called Red Obsession, and it was about the Bordelais and how Bordeaux is probably without question the best marketed wine region in the entire planet ever, right? I mean, you think about first the English aristocracy, then the Americans, now to the Chinese, especially the top grows and first grows and stuff like that. But what people don't understand, Bordeaux it's like an animal, and I mean that because how much wine they make there. I mean, when people think about Bordeaux, they think about these beautiful, grandiose chateaus and manicured vineyards, which they certainly have. But for every one of those, there's about 20 other small garage wineries, and it's a huge game in Bordeaux. Just to put it in perspective, you can take every single vineyard in the country of Germany, and it would fit in just the region of Bordeaux, not including every other part in France. Now, having said that, by far Bordeaux makes more wine than any other wine region by far. So I think what's unfortunate about Bordeaux, it has this reputation of not only making some of these beautiful, ageable wines that people from Napoleon to just about anyone in history have talked about, from Margaux and Lafite, to obviously making a wash of kind of forgettable, flabby, just green, not very ripe wines, and that's kind of the Bordeaux superiors, or sometimes the entry level wines. Well, we were able to find a sort of a sub-appellated in the Medoc, Saint-Lyon, on the left bank. So this is going to be Cabernet based with about 10 years age on it, guys. So this is 2013, pretty good vintage in Bordeaux. But, again, Bordeaux, it's one of those classic old school areas that needs time. And we live in a time where, when we put something in the oven, we want it done before we put it in there, right? So having patience when it comes to aging wine is not everyone's virtue. So when we were able to pick up, I think about a pallet of this wine that was just gracefully aging with a little bit of factory dust up in New Jersey, we'll say, well, we'll take it. And we said, oh my God, at what price? So this is just a beautiful left bank Bordeaux, found in 1870. That is, as I said, Cabernet based at about 60%, Cabernet, about 30% Merlot, and just about 10% or so Cabernet Franc. And this is what will bring you back into Bordeaux. Just as I said about with the Pinot Grigio earlier, once bitten, twice shy. Again, I know there's a lot of bad Bordeaux out there just because if you play the numbers game, there's going to be some. But when you talk about wineries that are not beholden to big interest, big firms, and Bordeaux has them, when they're not beholden to, make so many wines for, big chain stores in America, they make less wine in bad years. So, in really good years, buy down, and really bad years, buy up. And so this is a winery that, in a pretty decent year, has a wine that I think is just now coming to its own. I mean, so much extra levels, tertiary flavor. I mean, this is old school Cabernet. You smell it. I mean, this smells like you walked into like an old library full of many leather-bound books and mahogany.
Yes.
It's like the seats that are kind of worn on the handle right there.
Get ready to give
me the pipe. Throw me the pipe.
little cherry pipe smoke in the air, and we'll be good to go. Yeah. This is when we were talking, and he's like, well, I drink a lot of French, and then he's like, well, what about a Bordeaux? And I was like, oh, TC, if you want to pick a Bordeaux, if you're drinking it, I'm about selling it, because and then he suggested this one, and I was like, I love the fact that it's a 2013. You got some age on the bottle, and I have a great price on this as well. And to be able to put all of that together, look at 24. Now we're talking, 7, 8 years old. I think you could lay this thing down for a few more years.
Yeah,
and still
absolutely.
Be
I mean, that's a hallmark.
Very happy.
That's a hallmark, guys. I mean, I've I just recently went back and watched. There was a documentary that the BBC did probably about 12 years ago called Mondo Vina, and they combined it to one DVD, but the series was a series about just everything in the wine world. And one of the episodes was about Berry Brothers, which was the oldest wine merchants basically in existence. They've been around since the 1700s. They're the personal wine merchant to the Queen, and they have some of their very, very high-end buyers. And one of the reps from Cause d'Estournel, which is a second growth Bordeaux, in for a private tasting, obviously to sell some of their current vintage. And the director, the guy that literally has $60 million a year budget to buy Bordeaux. I mean, this is the guy that buys Bordeaux. Goes down the cellar and cracks open 2 bottles of 1870 Cause, and he goes, "These haven't left the building since they arrived." And so the guy from the winery was like, "This is a very old wine. I'm going to go 40s, maybe 20s." So I mean, no one obviously would have guessed 1870s, but just to show you the fact of Bordeaux. And this was 10 years ago, drinking an 1870 that still had just a few shades lighter than this, that the cork wasn't broken. I mean, so again, guys, when you have a top quality producer, it's just a matter of conditioning and where you put it, really, if more than anything else.
Right.
Storing. But Bordeaux, guys, I mean, if you know, in Burgundy as well, and Champagne, you talk about areas that can age. I always say, buy your California to drink now. Buy your Bordeaux to drink in 5-10 years sometimes. And this is something that you can for $24, guys, under $30. Again, almost 10 years of age on it. And something, as Danny said, easily can probably sit down for another 5 or so years and just get more and more mature. I think John said, how much Cab? About 60% Cabernet. But again, this isn't that big, jammy Cabernet. This is that 12.5%, 13%. I'm calling on you folks that have been drinking wine long enough that remember the late 70s, early 80s Cabernet from Napa. Lighter, more tertiary,
very soft tannin.
Yeah, I mean, integrated. I mean, very fine, very integrated. It doesn't just blow off with this kind of extra, and it's dry. Again, that's one thing I think when people drink Bordeaux, they don't like it, is it's dry, because they're so used to drinking Napa Cabernet or California Cabernets. I won't pick on Napa, but California Cabernets that are sweet. I mean, that have a lot of residual sugar, that are very jammy, and that's what people like, which is fine. When they drink a Bordeaux, they're like, "Oh, it's kind of, what is it?" I'm like, "It's dry." It's like it's fermented dry,
And John, not being a cab lover, I'm gonna tell you, John, I don't think you're gonna. I think you'll be fine with this. Because that Merlot really does take over a lot in this bottle. I
think the Merlot kind of gives it a little bit of that macerated cherry. You get like almost like a little bit of a rhubarb kind of a thing to it on there. I get like a little bit of oh my god, like dark strawberry, a little bit of that dark, maybe a little dark strawberry in there, and oh my god, it's just a beautiful wine. Maybe just a touch tobacco, maybe a touch of leather because of the age. Maybe it's got all that leathery component, but this is a beautiful Bordeaux, guys. And again, not just Bordeaux Superior or Bordeaux, not just Bordeaux Superior, not just Medoc, which is a good area, but again, kind of a larger swath. This is right down the road from, Saint Estèphe and Margaux and, where, and Grave, as you showed. So, I mean, we're talking about, some of the top first, second, and third growths that are really just the differentiation is a road. And again, if you ever have to throw politics personified in wine, just look at the song and dance they do in Bordeaux every year. And frankly, Bordeaux's went through a change over the past 20 years. I know they, followed the Parkerization for a while. I know that there's a big trend to kind of go away from that now, which is a good thing. People are making wine to fit, maybe their wine needs versus a wine critic, which is good. And again, I think the Chateau de Glana, for the price point, to get a sub-appellated Bordeaux that's been around for about 140 years for under $30. I don't know if we can do any better, honestly.
Yeah, it's plus 20% off tonight. This is one that definitely to grab for. If you're a Francophile, you're gonna love this. man, I'm trying to think. Even some of the ones that we have on the shelf, I think this really competes, and maybe might be now my new fave and go to.
It's a beautiful Bordeaux. We didn't get a lot of it, so just last week I've been telling a few people about it. Danny, when we were doing the show, I said, let's throw it out there because again, I think Bordeaux it kind of takes a little talking about. You need a little reintroducing because again, this is an area that has such a reputation. Sometimes people, either think it's such a grandiose thing, or maybe they go, "Oh, Bordeaux, I've had one of those. You really got to spend a lot of money." Well, this shows you prime example. While the savvy consumer, or we have 2 or 3 savvy folks that bring it to you. We do all the tasting for you, that we can bring something for you. So when you talk about something I'm loving and I'm drinking, I would gladly serve this to a Bordeaux for any of you that were to come over to my place that love Bordeaux.
Yeah, this is really, really good. And again, 20% off. Use the Prez 20 at checkout to get that discount tonight. Just really, I can't rave. I mean, all the wines have been really, really good. Mm-hmm. I'm going to rave on this one a little bit. If you're a red drinker and you're looking for a red tonight, as much as I love the party line, that's very limited in availability. This is limited in availability as well. And it is just, just knowing some of the people that are on the show right now, this is definitely in the wheelhouse of folks that are watching that are really going to love this.
We have a little bit to play with. So even if you're like, guys, or you're selling it, I'm kind of liking it. Get a bottle or two because we have a little bit. So no hard sell tonight. We have a little bit of supply of this, not a ton, but a little bit. So for those of you that want to get a bottle or two on Wednesday, I encourage you to do that. Go ahead and make it your weekend drink and go ahead and text Danny and say, okay, I'll go ahead and take 6 more or whatever. You better be quick so the Prez discount goes quick. But, guys, this is something that you want to go ahead and jump on, at least get you a couple bottles, get that discount.
Yeah, and then time for our next one. But you want to text our guest and let them know that when we're ready.
We have a special guest.
Okay, so we're just waiting. We're just waiting for him. Waiting for him.
See, the show must go on.
The show must go on. So we're not gonna.
He may tune in like 9. I thought he said 9:30.
No. Hey, we were.
Maybe we'll get him in on the next show.
He might be here on the next show.
But again, he could something pressing could have came up. So I don't want to.
We were trying. That's why we didn't really push that we had a guest like this. We might have a guest, we might not. We'll see. Now this is my last pick.
Bringing it back, man. Bringing it back. Love this wine.
I just love this wine.
Crowd pleaser too. Man.
Crowd pleaser. Full disclosure, I knew I was going to do 20% off tonight, and I figured this was a wine that if I did that, some folks would be like, yes.
I think Vanna liked this wine too. Last time I remember.
Yeah, this is so, folks.
Classy wine, classy label.
Wine, classy label.
20% PV, as Mr. Danny loves.
I love the Petit Verdot.
Got some Tannat. Aged for about 2 years in oak barrels, guys.
It's got Malbec, it's got Cab Franc. It's just an excellent wine. And that is the Owl and the Dust Devil.
Need to get Stephanie back on the show. That was so fun, having I think that's what I'm gonna start doing, reaching out to these people that are like 4 or 5 time zones away. I kind of miss having somebody tune in with like one eye shut.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
She was on the show.
I think she was on Espresso. I think our guys from South Africa may have had a few pints before
they had some pints.
They had a few pints when they tuned in. But hey, all the best, right? But guys, this is Finca de Cero, and so Finca de Cero is from Argentina, more specifically in Mendoza, and this is a relatively new project. Started about 25 or so years ago. Finca de Cero literally means from scratch, and so when this vineyard was made, guys, it was nothing there. It was barren land that they had to blast and dynamite their way because it was nothing but rock, and basically there's no topsoil to speak of. Essentially, it's just infertile quartz and gravel and maybe a little bit of something for the dirt to cling on to, but not much up there because we're talking 3,500 plus feet in elevation. And they did that for a few things. One is to, as we always talk about, infertile soil stretches the vines out. Those vines usually make better wines. But they also wanted to take an organic or a natural approach. And when you're that high up, the bugs, the critters, the things you have to spray for and all that other stuff are down in the valley because that's where they want to live, because that's where the other stuff that they eat live. It's a lot easier to live in the valley. You get a lot more rain. The temperature is a bit more consistent, right? From day to night. You don't get the super hot days and super cold nights. So it takes sort of resilient animals, whether it be, the mountain goats and the owls or whomever, to be up there. So what's great about this wine is that it's a beautiful blend. It's a newer wine, and the reason they call it the Owl and the Dust Devil is that there are two different things happening in the vineyard. First of all, they call this vineyard the Romolinas vineyard, and Romolinas is this local term for these whirlwinds, these little tornadoes that they get up there. It's a very unique meteorological thing that happens in this very specific site. So what that does is, anytime they may have a little bit of humidity or any kind of moisture, well, the Romolinas or these whirlwinds clear them out. So you're not going to have mildew and rot and all these kind of things, that fungal diseases would happen. Second, the owl. And the owl, for those of you obviously that know, is a bird of prey. So this scares off the otherwise would be smaller birds that would eat the grapes. So they encourage owls, particularly owls, as well as I think there is some falconry there as well. But they're natural, they're native there. And so they encourage that. So really you have two different things. You have the dust devils from the bugs, and you have the owls for the small birds that keep it sort of the ecosphere. They're very much part of the winery. They wanted to give a little homage or a little credit back to those guys as well. And again, this is a wine, guys, that it's got a little age on it. I mean, 2015 vintage, really coming to its own. To me, I can say Figue de Cero only make wine. That was their approach. Bordeaux trained owners and winemakers. But the Owl and the Dust Devil is a fun little. Almost okay. Red blends are hot. That California style's hot. I'm not saying overly jammy, but this is a beautiful red blend that I would brown paper bag again. This with any other $30 red blend you have from California. Yeah, this is going to come out top 2 or 3 every time. Yeah.
Every time. And this is always hey, I'm looking for a bottle. We want a red blend. I grab this bottle. Oh my! And people go, this is so. This is amazing. This is perfect.
And you may have to tell them, hey guys, I know it's eight more bucks, $5 more bucks, and hey, I can sell you down, but this is something I know for $30. And guys, you don't get the discount normally in the shop. This would normally be what, $32 in the shop.
32 on the shelf now. Marked down for tonight's show down to 30 plus or something like that. I mean, like giving it away, but you're not getting it much cheaper than that anywhere in town. And I can tell you right now, big box stores alike, they're not that cheap this weekend. So if you're looking to say, hey, you know what, Dan, I'm gonna take advantage of your special, because this is the one to do it on.
It's like dry, like almost like this, like dried Bing cherry with like a little bit of like sagey underbrush herb kind of thing in it. And this one I get more like a red pepper. I think earlier we had like a wine had a black peppercorn. This has more of that red peppercorn, a little bit that firecracker kind of a. Somebody said, "Do you see firecracker?" That's right, guys. After 8:36, our descriptions get a little
firecracker.
They get spicier.
Yeah.
So you may want to have this on July 4th. Who knows, guys? But this is a fun wine. 6 years of age. It's really come into its own.
Yeah.
I know this will not be the last time we do a De Cero wine.
No.
We'll probably have somebody either from the winery, maybe Christoph, talk about it at some point. Maybe do a giveaway. Because I know at one point we had a really cool giveaway with this wine. I think when she was on, I think we did a giveaway. Yeah. So anyway, for those of you that know De Cero, know they make great cab, great Malbec. They've been adorned with all the press from Enthusiast, Spectator. I think just last year, 2 years ago, their Malbec got number. Well, there was only one or two Malbecs that got on top.
Yeah, it was number 32 on the list. Yeah. And it was about the 3 years ago, Mark, when we first started the shop. It was on the list, and we sold a lot of it right off the bat to folks. And
what's the price point? I mean, how many other wines on that list that are $15, $20 retail?
I think we were at 24 retail, and people were like, "Yeah, this is really good." Yeah, it's solid, and everything we've had from them is so solid. The Cab Franc, the Cabernet, the Petit Verdot, in which I love. But I just thought, hey, let's do a little added special for folks today, 20% off of this. I know people like it. I know a lot of people have tasted it. So it didn't involve, I'm taking a risk. You're not taking a risk on this bottle. You're literally going, I'm getting a deal on this bottle tonight. So let's take it.
And that Tannat, you don't get Tannat every day, but that Tannat and that Petit Verdot, I think you get this like plum, that Petit Verdot, you get that the nice tannins. We've had their Petit Verdot, guys, and for those of you that want to go to the dark side, that's a Darth Vader of a wine, man. That wine, if you're not careful, will just be a purple nurple all over your teeth and make you go crying to mama. But I love that because this just gives you that color. Got the cab. Obviously, it's from Argentina. It's got to have Malbec and Tannat, which is something that, quite frankly, no one else in the world, other than really outside of Uruguay, Argentina is doing some great Tannat. Don David, I know we did that.
Don David.
This is, I wouldn't say it. This is like Argentina in a nutshell. This is like the varietals that are doing great. Cab, Malbec, some PV, a little Tannat. Doing it right. Age for 18 months, guys. What else can I say? Throw a bottle or two into this with that discount. What would we say? 27, maybe 28, 27 with a discount.
Yeah,
like
right
that.
There. It's
so
I know it's high. It's the highest bottle of the night, but with the discount,
we're still under $30. Guys.
Still way under $30.
I think probably the theme tonight, other than the wines that we're loving, is guys. Yeah, we drink wine. We're in the wine biz, but we're not drinking $68 bottles of wine. I think sometimes people go, oh, well, I wonder what TC's drinking tonight. Guys, I'm just, usually people ask, what's your favorite wine? I'm like, what's in my glass at the time? Yeah. Sometimes.
And funny is when we were having the discussions of like, okay, well, I'm drinking a lot of Zin, I'm drinking a lot of red blends and da-da-da. And I was like, well, I'm drinking a lot of red blends, but, and it hit my head. I was like, what red blend I'd love to do. And I said, do you have some inventory of it? He said, yes. I said, I want to do the Owl and Dust Devil because I just think it's a great red blend. And it's not something that everybody's going to, go, oh, red blend, California. Mm-hmm. It just kind of pass it by. It is, people know it. And those of you that do know it, that getting 20% off tonight is a great deal for that. And man. So let's do a recap.
Yeah, let's do it.
So here we go. Get the recap page up. Well, I didn't change. I feel like I grabbed the wrong. Hold on one second. Let's bring Tanya on camera for a second.
That's why she's here. Beauty
she's there.
That's all night.
I was just about to leave too.
She's like, forget this stuff. You're not talking to me anymore. Yeah. Out of this piece. All right. Well, actually, I'm blocking you now. I can never tell which
it didn't save.
Yeah, I was like.
All right. Well, it didn't save. So we'll have to do this as a video recap versus on screen.
Like, let's do. Prices right. I always wanted to be on the prices.
All right. So you can start with the Adams over there.
We'll do that so badly.
But I want the show dresses and the highlights next
time. Next time. Yeah. And I'll get over here with our tickers and our banners here so that everybody knows. I'm gonna put that there so they go to Grape. Remember, use Prez 20 at checkout to get that 20% off. And we started right here with a Pinot Grigio from Adams. For Julie. Mm-hmm. This is one that is absolutely stellar. A little bit heavier of a Pinot Grigio. Bailey's trying to get in the show.
I was gonna say
might be a Bailey's pick as well.
It could be a Bailey pick. But really, folks, at this price, if you're looking for some nice white wines, and next week we're talking about all winter whites. So we're going to be doing heavier whites that you can be drinking right now that go great with food, that go great with just drinking by itself. But that is just one of the reasons Tanya's been drinking Pinot Grigio all winter long. She's been everywhere we go, restaurant. She's like, Pinot Grigio, or she goes, can I get the rosé? That's pretty much where she's been. And so then we went on and did the Alma de Catalina rosé. Great rosé. We did this early on in Virtual Vines at 20% off. This is a great deal. From 20 down to 20. 22 down to 20. Just an excellent wine, and it's 100% Pinot Noir in that, and it's
brand new vintage.
Brand new vintage.
So one of the first rosés we just got, guys. So if you're all about the keeping it so fresh and so clean, that is a very fresh, super fresh wine right there. So.
TC's Rosé.
So TC's Rosé, an accidental pick, but it worked out to our advantage because it's absolutely delicious.
If you want to have your own rosé party, totally different in style and approach, country, everything. I mean, it couldn't be. I mean, the only thing that's similar is maybe the color. I mean, and even that's a couple shades dark right there. So
100% Gamay on this, 24 down to 22, plus 20% off tonight with that coupon code PRES20 at checkout. Be sure to use that. Excellent wine. Bigger, heavier, fuller of a rosé, which makes it a lot of fun. And I thought it was drinking really, really good. I'm glad it was a mispick because I probably wouldn't have picked that for the shop.
It's the wild card.
Yeah, the wild card, right?
Wild card. Then we went to one of my picks, which we don't have a lot of, so I'll hop on this sooner than later, which is the Bialy Party Line Zin, normally on the shelf at 27 down to 25. This is I should also explain, there's a big retailer that's about 2,000 feet from Loaded Grape that sells this for 32. So just want to, if
it's in stock, right?
If it's in stock, just saying.
Which we know it's not because we corner the market.
yeah. I can tell you that they don't have any. So the good news is you're not going to have to pay 32 at that location. You can pay 25 plus 20% off tonight
and support local.
So this is when everybody goes, sometimes supporting local it costs more. No, it doesn't. This is a tasty wine. I love Zin, especially during the winter. I tend to gravitate to more of the Mendocino Lodi Zins during the summer because they have a little bit more punch of a fruit. But this is that more drier style, silky smooth, sit by the campfire. We had beef stew tonight and it went excellent with the beef stew. So just know that grab some Zin and don't knock Zin. It's coming around and it's going to be a wine that you really need to have in your.
Speaking of local, maybe that's what we should do. Maybe for our chicken challenge, instead of go to national chains, we just go to local restaurants. Maybe we have people give us suggestions of the best, not just innocuous, but places that are doing a
chicken sandwich.
Aioli. I mean, who's trying? What restaurant's trying? Not just we have a chicken sandwich on the menu, but who's got the coming with the funk? Like, how are we going to drive? So, I mean, hey, we'll pick five local places.
Five local places. Yeah. Then we went to TC's pick, a beautiful Bordeaux.
I mean, doesn't the name just make you conjure up images of cellars and dust?
It makes me feel like I'm somewhere fabulous drinking wine.
Hello, darling. I gotta take the cellar and grab a bottle of the 2013 claret.
Hold on. Since you brought it up, I gotta get this up now. Hold on. Let me get this.
Which, by the way, why he does that, can I just go ahead and say, for those of you that watched, and I know it's past my generation, but I watched reruns, Gilligan's Island. Oh, yeah. They were going for a 3-hour tour. Right. The Thurston Howells had 3 seasons worth of champagne. Yeah. Holy hell. I mean, how much Dom Pignon do they bring for a 3-hour tour? Yeah. And every episode, they're drinking bottles of bubbles. Yeah. So can we just go ahead and talk about that? So if you have to go on go with Thurston Howells, right? And they would definitely have a little Bordeaux.
So there's the chateau, and he talks about the cellars. Look at how cool that cellar is, where they keep the barrels. It's like the state-of-the-art, Star Trek thing with the lights and everything. It's quite impressive of where they're storing this wine to get aged. But then again, the beautiful chateau too, where I wouldn't mind spending a little bit of time because it's absolutely gorgeous. But I wanted to show that as well.
Yeah, very beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful winery, guys. Again, I think Bordeaux. Bordeaux, I almost tuck in that section of sparkling, fortified, rosé of people will drink it when given to them, but would almost never go in the shop and say, Danny, I would like to do this or explore that. It kind of takes, maybe someone in the shop to kind of give it to you or whatever else. But so, Bordeaux, again, guys, is an area that, they've been doing it about as long as anyone else, marketing themselves about as long as anyone else. So in terms of modern wine making, that is at least something $130 that you can definitely grab a hold of. So
yeah, really good.
Last but certainly not
last but not certainly not least, was the Owl and the Dust Devil.
The Finca de Cerro.
Finca de Cerro. Really, really good wine. We've done it in virtual vines before. This is just an excellent wine. Beautiful blend. And just another thing about the label, which we need to talk about. Yeah. There's an app that you can download. It's the whole story of the. Tells
it way better than I did. Probably Stephanie. I think
Stephanie does the voiceover with a beautiful British accent. Very proper accent. So if you get a bottle, definitely I'll show you how to download the app so you can see how the label comes to life and tells the story of the wine. Which if you have some friends over and you're opening this up, it's not like a like a parlor trick, but it's a beautiful way of like showing the wine. Because if you were like, oh, this looks interesting, and then you see and you're like, open it up, man, I want to drink it. Let's get into this. This, and then they taste it and they go, man, like a lot of wines out there that have interactive labels, a little gimmicky. This one, not gimmicky. It's actually straight on to tell you a great story about the winery.
The label's great, and as Danny said, after you watch this great story narrated by basically someone from like the PBS. PBS. So you can do that now.
The Owl in the Dust.
The Owl in the Dust was first incepted by two brothers. Yeah, but what I can say is, and for those of you that watch the show long enough and want to do a deep dive, I mean, you got to be true geeked out on the virtual vines to do this, but go back maybe this past summer when we had Stephanie on the show. After you watch that, you can say, I know a couple guys that know that lady. Skip back to about halfway through the show after we've had a few glasses of Sarah. We talk about tater tots. So again, it's only the virtual vines, guys, and we talk about high-end, top shelf Malbec intertwined with tater tots, guys. I mean, where else can you get an expansive show that really touches bases on? I mean, we talked about Popeyes tonight and chicken sandwiches. I mean, what else have we talked about tonight? I mean, I don't even remember. I don't remember. But
you did talk about boobs.
We did talk about boobs. The boobage was mentioned.
But that was all because of Bridgerton. Bridgerton.
Apparently, hide the kids. Hide the kids. Hide your wife.
That show. Woo. Yeah. I watched it kind of without Tanya, and she's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, Bridgerton, and
because we watched the first episode together, and then I was kind of like, it was okay. But then he started watching the rest of it, and I was like, well, I'm going to watch it because everybody was talking about it.
And all of a sudden, the orgy scene was next episode.
They didn't start having all the sex until like the fourth, or fifth episode. It was
That's when Tanya wanted to watch.
No. She had to work their way.
She was like, oh, now it's interesting.
Well,
English accents and butt cracks. I mean, there you go.
That's it. That was it. That's what totally did it. And remember to use Prez20 at checkout to get 20% off today. Since it is President's Day, might as well give you guys a little extra. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. The horses. The show's going to have to go a little bit longer because we have Christoph here. Hello, sir.
That's the man himself.
How you doing, guys? Can you hear me?
Oh, well, are you muted?
I don't know if we can hear you.
Oh, there, I can hear you now. We can hear you. How you doing, sir? Oh, I got you. Hold on. What's going on here?
That looks like a ghost.
Hold on.
That new filter. They're like the cats. I'm not a cat. I'm ready to proceed.
All right, here we go. Now let me bring you up. Got to unmute your mic, and you'll be all set. Nope, you're still muted. Nope. Yep. Now we can hear you. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We were just kind of wrapping up the wines here on the show, but we were. Since we have you here and you represent 3 of these wines, folks, if you're okay with staying on for a couple extra minutes, we're going to let Christoph kind of talk about these wines. So let's first. I know you also work with the fine folks with the Adams, the Etimes, Pinot Grigio. So if you want to give our folks a little kind of talk about that really quick, and I'm going to bring you up on the full screen.
Yes, so you had the Thames Pinot Grigio tonight, right? Can you hear me? I guess I lost you.
Stream. You didn't lose this. I just put you up on screen.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I just took it off the screen so everybody can see you. So yeah, go ahead. We can hear you. Go ahead and talk about the wine.
So did you want to hold on, Danny? Give me a second to check with you.
Yeah.
Did you have the Thames Sauvignon Blanc or the Pinot Grigio?
Pinot Grigio from 2019.
Very nice. Okay. So I'm sure you've already addressed the wine, but Thames is it's part of the Ornellaia portfolio, and it's been acquired in the 70s by the Frescobaldi family, and they intended to let the property run by itself, really. Simply be there as a kind of a consultant type of support, leaving the winemaking team in position the way it was under the Thames family. It comes from the Friuli area, comes from the Collio area of Friuli. The Collio area is the hillside. It is famous for its ponca soil, which is that petrified sandstone that just lends this beautiful texture to the wines. This Pinot Grigio is a wine with a bit more, viscosity and volume in the mouth than Pinot Grigio from areas like Alto Adige or even parts of Veneto. It's one of my favorite Pinot Grigio in the world. It has a very Bordeaux-like appeal. It's just it does have a very continental feel to it. It doesn't.
We were talking about how for wintertime, this is an excellent white wine because it is heavier of a white wine to eat with your food or just sit and drink.
Exactly. I mean, it is a no nonsense wine. It is. We have a super deal that we're giving our North Carolina partners here, and that will be good for the ongoing season. So even when the days start getting warmer, we'll still have a really good deal for you guys. I don't know if you have any snow up there, but we're having like winter lightning storms down here, and it is pretty amazing to listen to it.
Yeah, I have some friends down in
I just opened a bottle of Thames Rosé myself.
Oh, the Ramato. We love it.
Yes, the Ramato. So there's very few things that you should say about this Pinot Grigio beside the fact that it is a one of great texture. It's a great wine with food too, especially if you're looking to have vegetarian dishes or any type of shellfish or whitefish would be great with it because it has a bit more texture and a little bit more volume. It will pair very well with a very wide array of foods. And
we were really enjoying on it. It was actually Tanya's pick for tonight's show, and cause she's been drinking a lot of Pinot Grigio, and she enjoyed this one from a dinner we did back in September. We did an Italian dinner, and it was just excellent wine, and Tanya was loving it. So
which other wine did you have of mine?
Let's do let's talk about the Bordeaux. So this is I guess we just were able to pick up a little bit of this from you guys, right, Christophe? That's why I was excited. It's drinking great. So
Chateau de Glanat, yes, Chateau de Glanat is one of those.
Is a Ventus wine, but it is your hometown, home team right there, right? So
area. I'm originally from the Bordeaux region, but this is up the Route du Médoc on the way on the way to it's a Saint Julien. So it's really next to Bechevel, Chateau Bechevel. If you know anything about it, it's actually the owner of this property actually owns vineyard in the third growth appellation chateau in a castle called Chateau Lagrange. Beautiful little property. We don't really advertise our Bordeaux's, but it is one of those that is a very quiet part of my portfolio, and it's like any chateaus in that part of the Médoc, heavily influenced by Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc making the balance of this wine. What vintage are we drinking?
2013.
13.
So the beautiful thing about 2013, it's that it's ready to drink. You're buying something that is drinking well now. A lot of people are always reticent to buy Bordeaux because you have to sit on them, for a few years, or unless they are from a warm vintage and they're great now. 13 it wasn't a bad vintage. It wasn't a spectacular vintage, but it was a good vintage, and good vintages should be and can be drunk young, and that's what I love about this 2013. I'm sure you concur. You got it in the glass. I don't. I remember tasting it not so long ago.
We've been loving on. It is excellent.
And Saint Julien. Saint Julien is not cheap appellation. Yet here we're able to afford to again give you a wine that comes to you under $30 a bottle. I think this is the value part of my portfolio. The petite estate and chateaus from the Bordeaux areas that are unknown yet that are excellent values.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's.
And then the third wine, you said there was a third wine of mine.
Yeah. This last one, bringing back old Stephanie. Again, these are wines we're loving, and this was a Danny pick. We're doing the Owl and the Dust Devil, 2015. So
very nice.
Yeah.
So this is the third vintage of the Owl and the Dust Devil. This is a new production. It was started to really give the Malbec and the Cabernet drinkers of Chateau of Finca de Cero a very eclectic, everyday drinking Bordeaux blend. It is a big percentage of the wine is Malbec, a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon, some Petit Verdot, some Tannat, which is a rustic southwestern French grape, and there you have the first, I would say mid-level Bordeaux blend of in terms of entry-level wines are the Malbec and the Cabernet, and you get the Owl and the Dust Devil. And this is actually a mini Amano. For those of you who attended the Cero tasting with Stephanie, Amano is the grand wine of the property. And the Owl and the Dust Devil give us the opportunity to come to market with an everyday Bordeaux blend. Again, I think a great value. You can blindfold your friends with this wine and ask them to tell you what it is, and they will say, "Oh man, this is delicious. It's got it's New World fruit, but Old World approach. It's very balanced. It's all French oak. It's got this beautiful texture also, and softness in the tannins. It's not super chewy. It's not too spicy. It's a wine that it's very tranquil, I would say."
Yeah, it's a beautiful wine. It's drinking great now. A little age on it as well, and
for those of you who are into packaging, this is one of the best packaging in the business. In fact, the year that it came out, it was reviewed by press and said that was the best package of the year 2017, because It is the ultimate augmented reality label. If you download the app called Finca de Cero, Island of the Dust Devil, and turn it on, put your phone next to the label comes alive and tells you the story of the owl and the dust devil, who are two native occurrences in the high elevations of Mendoza. The owl, which is a native bird of that area, and the dust devils were natural climatic occurrences where little mini devil twisters appear in the vineyards and appear and disappear quite quickly. Oh, here you go.
Let's see if I can get this here.
That's gonna be hard.
Oh man, it's so close.
Yeah, you got to put the bottle a little bit more to the center.
TC, if you hold the bottle,
okay.
You hold the bottle. Let's see if I can then get the phone to do the thing.
It's moving. Yeah, it is. It's showing.
It's showing. I gotta get the volume up though. Hold on. I got an idea. Let me go from behind the screen.
Go that way.
But yeah, like that way I can hold it and press play. Oh, look at that. So now TC, you gotta tell me when I'm in the view.
Up.
I hear it.
Perched atop vineyard posts.
Can we see?
Keep a watchful eye over the vines.
No, you're too close to the screen, Danny.
Back up.
Both real and imagined. Throughout the growing
Higher.
season.
There you go. You got it.
When molinos or whirlwinds arise, their spiral forms mischievously weave their way through the vineyard. Catching sight of the swirling dust, the owls take flight in chase.
It's not really working great, but
Yeah.
Everybody gets the concept.
Yeah, it's cool. And you get
Definitely. Now you gotta get a bottle so you can download the app and see it better. But
Yes.
it is really cool, and I do it a lot in the shop, and people love it. And it is one of the
there's
best.
a free app. Download it on your phone. There will be news coming out of vineyards. In fact, the Owl and the Dust Devil Bordeaux blend was such a success that we decided, Vintage decided to import single appellation Owl and the Dust Devil Cabernet Sauvignon and Owl and the Dust Devil Malbec. So those two wines will be available in the very near future.
So, Christoph, since you've now announced it on the show, there's probably not a lot of people that know that this is happening. I feel like we need to do a launch of these two wines on Virtual Vines.
We could do that.
Okay, see, there you go.
Absolutely could do that.
Yes. So let us know when it hits the States, and we will do a launch of those two wines right here on the show.
Well, I can announce it to you today. We have received our first allocation of the Owl and the Dust Devil Malbec and Cabernet Sauvignon. It's just a matter of time to bring it to North Carolina. And so I put TC on the spot because TC's company is going to have to place their PO, and then I'll happily come and present the wine with you. And who knows, very soon I may even be there in person.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's true.
I would like to. I'd like that a lot. And this is also good time for everybody know that we'll probably go on with the show for a little bit, even once we start opening up. And but you're going to be joining us again on the 29th of this month to talk about Varietal.
That is correct. But I'm bringing a guest with me. I'm bringing an expert, somebody from the winery. So
this is great.
You'll see some beautiful photos, and you'll hear straight from the horse's mouth.
That's great.
Oh, this is going to be awesome. So so we'll have a special guest besides Christoph joining us for that Marietta special. And just so you know, a lot of the folks that are here are living on Cristo because it was in our wine club last month. So and we sold a lot of Cristo in our wine club that month.
These wines are delicious.
A lot of fun stuff to play with, guys. We're going to have, a Bordeaux blend, some rosé, hopefully maybe some Riesling. I'll have to check inventory. There's old vine Riesling. We're going to play with some really fun, funky stuff from a third-generation winery that's really just recently kind of rebranded some stuff, really have kind of integrated their tiers of wine and really dialed in their program. And I think just everything, I mean, I've always thought what they've done is great, but they've really focused in their tiers of programming to like, okay, old vine this, old vine that, Rhone blend, and like I said, the Cristo.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of that unfortunately added the other selection that month because
Totally
everybody bought the
did.
Cristo.
Everybody loved the Cristo, and it was just overshadowed.
Since Chris Bilbro passed away about a year and a half ago, Scott, his son, took over 100% of the winemaking duties and is really taking the estate in a great direction. You know, making the entry level wine OVR blend a more elegant style, more approachable style. You know, and I think the audience is going to even be even bigger. So we're really excited. We're really excited. We've taken over the responsibility of showing Marietta around the United States at a moment when it was really at a crossroad. We're super excited about it, and then I look forward to seeing you all on the 29th.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you on the 29th of March and talking about those wines. I know the Rosé got a lot of press. The last vintage got a lot of press, and as well as some accolades late in 2019. And it would drank amazing. And all those old vine line.
Provence style Rosé, straight from McDowell Valley in Sonoma. So
it's really good stuff. So we look forward to having you back on the 29th of March and talking about those wines. And now excited to have even more of a special guest too for the winery as well. So we'll pump that up and have a huge turnout as well for that show. But thanks for joining us tonight for a couple of minutes and talking about these wines. They're excellent wines. And I'm going to tell you, because you probably don't know this, folks are getting an extra 20% off tonight with the coupon code of PRES20 at checkout. So, sharpen that pencil, give everybody a great deal. We move some wines, so I can let you know already. The Bordeaux is crushing it in sales. I just looked a minute ago because my phone was lighting up. So you expect TC might need to order some more Bordeaux.
It's drinking great right now. Good, just drinking really. It's in a good spot right now. Like you said, this Bordeaux is drinking really
very
good.
nice, very nice.
For joining
thank you again for having me over. Sorry I was a bit late. Your message went into my junk box for some reason.
Oh no! Okay.
No,
well, I'll make sure next time that I follow up you ahead of time, so this way I know you have it ahead of time, especially for the 29th. Yeah, we'll make sure.
Impromptu,
this is impromptu, so I apologize. Went to the junk box, but yeah, we'll make sure you have the link ahead of time so you can join us, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of a fun show that we've been doing since COVID. Almost a year.
And Christoph, is your kid at Florida State now?
No, not yet. He's still in high school.
But is that where he's going?
Who knows? I hope he stays in state.
The reason I say that because I know your kid was about that age, and you're sporting the Seminole shirt, so I just didn't know if that was a reason. So,
well, longtime Floridian resident, and that was my team of choice. So don't mind me. I know this is Tobacco Road up here.
It's still ACC, so you're fine.
We'll take those for now.
Yep.
Christoph, thank you so much for tuning in, and can't wait to see you very soon, sir.
Can't wait. Everybody else, thank you so much for
tuning in.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And we look forward to seeing everybody else next week as we talk about winter whites, and we're going to have a special deal on white wines that week as well. Yeah. So
next
just
couple weeks, couple big things: Marietta, Rumbauer.
We have Rumbauer coming up on Thursday, 25th. So if you haven't gotten that tasting kit, 5 great wines, and 25 for non-club members, 22 for members, and we're gonna have you'll get your Zoom link and you'll be able to taste along. TC will be joining me. So a lot of fun stuff coming up here the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight and sticking along a little bit extra with Christoph joining us late. But hey, sometimes late's better than never. It was great for him to be able to share a little bit more about these wines. And again, remember, use coupon code PRES20. Let me put that back up here so you have it at checkout at loadedgrape.com. And I think we're going to, like I said, we're going to put a special on all the whites in the shop that are available online for you that night. So if you're wanting to dip your toe into one of these, you might want to dip your toe in something else that we already have on the shelf or we carry. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. For Danny and TC.
Vanna, she took the bottle of rosé.
She had to let the dogs out. So that was the excuse. I gotta let the dogs out.
Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Keep on tasting. Cheers.
Cheers.